Thank you. We appreciate you being here today. The North Las Vegas City Council welcomes you to its City Council meeting. There are two public forums set aside for public comment, one at the beginning of the meeting and one at the end. If you wish to speak, please complete one of the blue cards which are located on the table outside the main entrance where you entered, or to the left of me on the podium rail here. Would you please fill out the card, and our city clerk sits right here. If you will give that card to our city clerk team, then they'll run it up here to us, and we request that you limit your comments no more than 3 minutes, and we avoid repetition if we can help it. Madam City Clerk, are we in compliance with the Nevada Open Meeting Law?
Yes, sir, we are.
Great. Tonight, we're going to start our meeting by having the opportunity of having a good friend of North Las Vegas, Pastor Nathan Elder from the North Las Vegas Church of Christ. Following that will be the Pledge of Allegiance led by Mayor Pro Tem Richard Churchill. Please rise.
Let us bow. Almighty God of wisdom and our eternal Father, blessed be your holy and most righteous name. We are in awe of your magnificent power, for through you all things were made and all things have their being. We come before you with grateful thanks and with our hearts long and adore you, and we love you. We seek help and counsel as we gather together for this council meeting today. Mighty God, give these men and women here the clarity of thought and the sound of mind that they may be able to effectively manage each part of today's agenda. May we pray that you give us great insight as we discuss our plans and make decisions concerning the future of North Las Vegas. Father God, please guide their hearts to perceive any and every positive outcome, letting these favorable results encourage each heart in this room and in this city. Today, show these men and women the best way to resolve their issues, to coincide with the pressing matters of our great city. Oh God, help these men and women as you have entrusted them with this great task to both know you and apply your wisdom as decisions are being contemplated on these matters today. Lord, we are open to your grace and mercy, sensitive to your voice, and in our hearts alert to your calling. Lead us by your Spirit, and may our hearts overflow with thanksgiving, and our mouth proclaim your everlasting greatness forever. For it is in the name of Jesus that we ask these things. Let us all say, amen.
Amen. Please remain standing for our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Pastor, thanks for coming. Maybe you give us a little idea of where your church is located. Maybe there's parishioners out there watching today that were looking for your church.
Absolutely. We are located at 2626 North Martin Luther King Boulevard, right below the street of Cheyenne. It is a great congregation. We are a loving congregation. We are really introspective in our way that we approach the Word of God. We want to let people know that there is a practical application in a world that is losing its moral compass. So if you ever have a chance to come by and see what we are doing, please do so.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you, and tell your wonderful parishioners they're wonderful residents in our community. We appreciate them.
God bless you all.
Thank you. We are going to now move on to council items. Councilman Barone.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Well, I'm happy to say that our Liberty Park outside was the place where a community production took place, Pasión de Cristo, the Passion of the Christ, by Grupo Internacional de Actores Independientes, the international group of independent actors. They took on the project. They're their second time doing it, Mayor, and it was here last Sunday in observance of the Easter holiday. And speaking of culture, just a little while ago, the mayor and the rest of my colleagues here in the city council, they joined us for a proclamation honoring General Emiliano Zapata. I think it was his 105th anniversary of his passing, which is outside, right in front of the General Zapata bust. The city of North Vegas had the distinction of being the very first recipient of a bust presented from the state of Morelos anywhere outside of the Mexican Republic. So I'm happy that it wasn't donated to New York City. It wasn't donated to Los Angeles. It was your very own North Vegas that got the very first one. And finally, the North Las Vegas Police Department, right here in our very own council chambers, they had the 2021 Commendation Award ceremony last Thursday. And I wanted to give congratulations to the 10 awardees. If I had their names, I'd speak them out, but as I understand, they're very special people, and we're very safe having them guard us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Churchio.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to announce our first and maybe first of several Juan's Flaming Fajitas opened up over here in North Las Vegas. And, we had the opportunity to do the ribbon cutting besides months and months ago, the groundbreaking. And I could tell you, and we all sat down and had lunch while we were there. The food is amazing. It really is good. It's a standalone, very, very good restaurant. People were asking for sit-down restaurants for many years over here, and we're doing our best to provide that. So if you have an opportunity, you'd like to take the family out or just go yourself to Juan's Flaming Fajitas. It's right on the corner, the northeast corner of Aliante Parkway and Centennial. Secondly, I want to mention that Get Outdoors Nevada is so involved with our city, and I want to thank them for spearheading a park cleanup in my ward at Sandstone Ridge. They do an amazing job. A bunch of very, very dedicated young people get out there, and it doesn't matter what kind of weather it is. It could be hot, it could be cold. They get out there and they clean up a lot of the debris for our residents to have clean parks. So we thank them for that. And lastly, let me mention that we're going to have a tree planting event at Craig Ranch Regional Park this Monday. Together with the NFL, our city of North Las Vegas. It'll be on Monday, the 25th at Craig Ranch in the northern portion of it. And it's going to be ahead of the NFL draft weekend in Las Vegas. We're participating and partnering with the NFL, Verizon, and Get Outdoors again to plant 32 trees in 2 of our parks as part of the matching grant program. Starting at 9 o'clock, there's going to be a brief program, media photo op, and it will include the planting of the first 8 trees, followed by planting of 24 more trees at Goldcrest Park right across Craig Ranch. So if you're in the neighborhood, or even if you're not in the neighborhood, you may want to come down there and see that. It's going to be an amazing event. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much. Councilman Black.
Thank you, Mayor Lee. Last week, I had the opportunity to travel to Washington, D.C. with a group of local elected officials from Southern Nevada and other business leaders for a National Association of Workforce Boards. I'm the current chair of our local workforce development board. And our local board is nationally recognized, and it was a great opportunity to learn about the best practices in workforce development as we continue to grow in our economy here in North Las Vegas and have commercial and industrial development. It's important that we're focused on what industry sectors need employees and how to train those individuals to meet the demands of those that are coming into our community. So that was a great opportunity to learn and bring back things that will help our city. Also, this past Saturday had a great event at Silver Mesa Rec Center. We had an Easter egg hunt. There were several hundred individuals there, lots of fun, families, children were having a great time. And I just wanted to give my appreciation to our awesome Parks and Rec team at the Silver Mesa Rec Center for putting on such a great event, especially when it was supposed to be outdoors and they pivoted just in a short period of time due to the wind and brought it indoors. You would have never known that was not the original plan. It was excellent. And then yesterday I had the opportunity to meet with some senior residents at the Silver Mesa Rec Center Senior Center. Each time I go there to visit, I bring a special guest. I want to thank Portland Preston from our community engagement division of our police department. She talked about ways to help our senior community be safe in their homes, safe as they navigate the streets, and just overall public safety for senior residents. So thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Goins-Brown.
Thank you, Mayor. So yesterday, the University of Phoenix announced its scholarship winner, Legacia Espy, and she was a recipient of the 2022 Tyrone Thompson Scholarship, and she received a full ride scholarship because she's a student in Nevada, of course, and she's just a person that wants to pursue her higher degree. And so former Assemblyman Thompson was a champion for education, and he cared so deeply about the youth and their future. And so with his untimely passing in 2019, it inspired the creation of the Tyrone Thompson Scholarship as a way for the university to honor his name and his legacy, because he was a student, an alumni of the University of Phoenix. And so we know that he was a champion in the area of education, homelessness, initiatives, public health issues, and employment discrimination. So congratulations to LaGacia, and we wish you well. Also, last week, I had a constituent to reach out to me. She just wanted to set up a meeting. She said, I need to talk about what's going on in my neighborhood. So I wanted to say thank you to Director Jordan and Alan in Economic Development for making sure that I had all the tools that I needed in my toolbox, because I just knew this was going to be some kind of contentious meeting. And she came in and she sat down and we had the best conversation that could have gone on for hours. And she just wanted to say thank you to North Las Vegas and everyone in the city for all the work that we are doing in our city, and to better her neighborhood and her area with commercial and residential projects. She knew distance requirements. She knew how wide the streets are, what could go there, what could go, would not go there, you know, what residential is possible and what was not. So I just want to say thank you to her, and I appreciate it. And I just told her she made my day. And so thank you for all of your help, Mark and Alan. And I really appreciate everyone that's doing the great work in the city of North Las Vegas.
Wonderful. You guys are working hard in your districts. We've got I don't know if you recognize this, but everybody's wearing purple up here today, and there's a special purpose for this. I've asked Captain Adam Hyde from North Las Vegas Police Department to come up for a minute and let him tell you why we're wearing purple and how important it is that we recognize this day. Welcome, Captain.
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate it. Well, in recognition of National Crime Victims Week, in North Las Vegas, the well-being of our residents is our utmost priority. While we have police officers patrolling our streets and diligently working to engage our community, solving complicated social problems like crime takes more than just officers on the street. We need to raise awareness among our residents and work together to prevent crime. That's why I stand with victims and survivors of crime, and we are so thankful to all of the various organizations that do their part to provide victims with services and assistance. It is vital that victims of crime are always treated with fairness, dignity, and respect that they deserve. So let's continue to be advocates along with our residents to ensure the safety of all. Together we can support victims, build trust, and engage our communities. So thank you very much for having us.
Thank you very much. We have a wonderful police force, and we know how consistent you guys act in the field. I get no complaints about the service that our residents are getting, and I know there's things happening all the time without this whole community, and you guys just seem to get out there and really make us feel safe in North Las Vegas. I don't know if any of you have anything else you want to say, but I want to make sure that you take that back to your chief and your people, that we're proud. Okay, Isaac, can I say this? I think he read that. Oh, yeah, you can say something.
Yeah, thank you very much, Captain. By the way, just anything in any sort of social service, that's what the police are. You know, you're here to wind up providing social services, and I witnessed some of your officers doing a fantastic job with an autistic gentleman who he needed treatment, and his sister could not convince him to go into an ambulance, and your officers went out in a very respectful manner. Convinced the guy to get some treatment. Those are the things we never hear. We always hear all of the bad things. We never hear all the positive things that your officers do. And as a fellow public servant, I just want to tell you how proud I was to see your young men and women out there, doing this kind of a job. I'd like to say something about Marcy's Law. I know for myself, I am actually honored here to wear the purple of Marcy's Law for Nevada. The goal of Marcy's Law for Nevada is to bring awareness about the needs of victims and the rights that they now have in Nevada, and to offer recognition for the outstanding professionals who work each day to protect and inform victims, and to see that justice is done. It gives crime victims enforceable constitutional rights, meaning a victim has standing to assert those rights before any court having jurisdiction over that case. Among such rights is the right to be notified of specific public proceedings throughout the criminal justice process, and to be present and heard during these proceedings, as well as allowing victims and their families to exercise their right to be present and to be heard at court proceedings. I'm always happy to support such a great cause. Again, I'm proud of you as a leader in this department, and I think we owe you a big debt.
Councilman
Thank you,
Churchill.
Councilman Barone.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Captain. Always nice to see you. Actually, I remember when Marcy's Law was passed in 2018. And, the state legislature passes a lot of important bills, but this was extremely important, to the residents here, to the victims, where at that time it actually elevated the importance of the victims to the same level of representation as we have for the accused. So, again, our police department, together with the different agencies, they're providing a service for those people that have been attacked and abused by these predators. So we appreciate all that you're doing to make sure that Marcy's Law is enforced. Thank you.
Councilman.
Thank you, Councilman.
Thank you, Mayor Lee. I agree with the Mayor, Captain Hyde. I'm truly proud of our police department. The men and women of North Las Vegas Police Department do a great deal of work every day, 24 hours a day, to prevent crime and to address crimes that take place. And obviously, we have a hope and a goal to have no crime in our community. But in the event and under the cases where there is a victim of crime, this celebration of National Crime Victims Week is definitely relevant and important to identify the fact that these individuals have rights and need protection and support. It dates back to 1981, so it's been several decades in the making of having this special week. And as a city councilman, as a public servant, as a member of this community, I would just like to reaffirm and renew my commitment to the rights of these victims of crime and support this recognition today. So thank you.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Owens-Brown.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Captain. The thing about going last, they get to say everything, and I can just be on the end here. So just a little background knowledge about the effort is named after Marcy Nichols, who was murdered by her ex-boyfriend in California in 1983. And a week later, he was released pending his court proceedings and went face-to-face with the victim's family, who had no idea that he was out of jail. And so today, her family is working to secure a voice and protection for victims and their families nationwide. Individual Marcy's Law measures have now been approved in 12 states, including Nevada. And nearly 140 million people, or over 40% of all Americans, now receive protected rights under Marcy's Law. So I, too, am pleased to join in the celebration in this great cause. And let's never forget the victims and the survivors, especially in our state.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Captain, for being here today. Please take those to the force, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much,
All right,
Mayor.
brother. Bye-bye. Moving on to the City Council's first public forum. This time is set aside for comments on posted agenda items. Items listed under the public hearing section or of the agenda will have their own public hearing when they are heard. So if you want to speak on any item today that's on the agenda other than the public hearing items, now would be that time. Madam City Clerk, do we have anybody on the phone, any letters or anything?
No, sir, we do not.
Anybody from the public like to come up and approach the council on posted agenda? Seeing none, we will close the public comment and we will move on to the agenda.
Item 1, approve City Council regular meeting agenda of April 20th, 2022. Mayor and Council, the applicant for item number 16 has requested a continuance to the May 4th, 2022 meeting. So item 16 will not be heard at council meeting this evening. It's our recommendation to approve the agenda as amended.
Thank you. So the chair will take a motion unless there are any comments or questions to approve the agenda as amended.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
We have a motion. Please cast your vote. We're kind of stuck here. We're not showing. Did you hit the? You made
For
the
everyone
motion?
or just for the mayor?
Yeah, go ahead and.
Yeah.
Just for you, Mayor.
So she just needs to know your vote.
I think yours is stuck.
Oh, mine is the one.
If you'll just verbally let her know.
Oh,
what you're
okay.
voting.
Yes, I approve. I thought we were all stuck. Okay. There it is. Moving on to the consent agenda.
Well, we're so grateful that you approved the agenda. Mayor and Council, the consent agenda consists of items numbers 2 through 10. It's our recommendation to approve the consent agenda as published.
So if there's no questions or information that we want to give the council, I would ask that we approve the agenda and deny it. I mean, thank
So
you.
moved.
I messed up.
Meeting's
Okay.
adjourned. Yeah.
So we would like to call for motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved. I wanted to say that only because I was in a different jurisdiction. It's an RTC thing, and they said it. And I want to do it to be cool. That's all.
Madam City Clerk, honestly, my screen is not working, so I'll have to voice vote every time. Is that what I'm hearing? Okay. Aye. And items approved. Set public hearing.
Item 11, set the date of any appeals filed or required public hearings.
Thank you. Madam City Clerk, I direct you to set any hearing dates that are necessary.
Mayor, so noted.
Moving on to public hearing.
Mayor, Council, item 12, approve ZN 02-2022 and pass and adopt ordinance number 3112, an ordinance related to zoning reclassifying approximately 5.0 plus or minus acres from the M1 Business Park Industrial District to R3 Multifamily Residential District, ZN 02-2022, Pecos and Rome Apartments for property located at the southwest corner of Pecos Road and Rome Boulevard, and providing for other matters properly related thereto.
Thank you. Mr. Gronauer, welcome. Do you have a little presentation for us?
I think you should deny whatever Mr. Gronauer presents. He just tried to bribe a public official with a marijuana-laced brownie.
I was at the county commission today, and
Excuses.
Commissioner Tick Sugar-Bloom was handing out brownies, and I thought I'd bring Ryan a brownie.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't
I don't
believe
want it. Okay.
Yeah, right. You got brownie on your chin, man.
When did our city manager get so verbose in these meetings? He's excited today.
That's because
Ryan,
it's
we're going to give
420
him a
and
chance. We're going to give him a
Commissioner
chance here.
Sugar-Bloom
Make a
gave us-
presentation. We'll see if we vote yes or no.
Yes, yes. On a little bit of a more serious note, I'm here representing the applicant on this matter. As staff has mentioned to you, this is a 5-acre piece of property. If I could get your attention to the overhead, I'll show you quickly the location. The property is 5 acres here, highlighted in yellow under site. This is Rome Boulevard. This is Pecos. This is Centennial. This is the YMCA location. Earlier in the early 2000s, this multifamily was approved for R3 development. It's existing. Currently, this property here is zoned M1, but it's master planned for high density, which would allow for multifamily. This is the multifamily development that is being proposed. Your staff has recommended approval. The Planning Commission unanimously recommended approval of the proposal. And I'm here asking you to approve what is being proposed.
Thank you. Let me just make a quick note here. Is there anyone else has any questions on this? I'm going to open this up for public hearing. This would be the time to have somebody in the audience or on the phone comment on this item. Is there anybody that's interested in that in the audience today? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing, and I'm going to ask Councilman Churchio to pipe in on this.
Thank you, Mayor. Excuse me. I remember when the developer met with me on this particular project months ago, and Bob and I spent a lot of time yesterday going over it. And yesterday I was in support of approving it, but I'm not too sure now with the brownies that we didn't get our portion up here. But I think it's going to be a good project over there. I think it's a good fit for that area, particularly with everything else going in over there, in the very near future. So I have absolutely no problem approving ZN-02-2022.
Thank you, Council. I have a motion. Is there any other comments that you'd like to speak on this?
The one thing I'd like to comment on, I saw it. I think that's actually a pretty. You have a high-density residential project right next to it, and this looks like a nice continuation of that. And we really need housing. That'll probably be within people's reach. So I think there's a good project. What's going to be the name of the project?
I don't have a specific name yet for it, or they don't, but
Will it somehow incorporate brownie?
I'm not going to let you forget.
I might have started a trend here, but no, not yet.
Well, I'll support you.
Okay, well, thank you.
So we have a motion Councilman Churchill made. All those in favor, please vote aye.
Everybody vote?
And I'm an aye. Item's approved.
Thank you very much.
Mayor, Council, item 13, approve ZN 03-2022 and pass and adopt ordinance number 3113, an ordinance related to zoning reclassifying approximately 7.4 acres plus or minus acres from a PUD plan unit development district to a C1 neighborhood commercial district to a PUD plan unit development district, ZN 03-2022 North 5th and Azure, consisting of a 108-unit multifamily development for property located at the northwest corner of North 5th Street and Azure Avenue, and providing for other matters properly related thereto.
Thank you. I'm going to open this up for, please, Mr. Gronauer, go ahead. I didn't know this was yours.
Yes, this is for item number 13. I'm here, for the record, Bob Gronauer, 1980 Festival Plaza Drive. I'm here representing Harmony Homes in this matter. If I could get your attention to the overhead, please. And fairly quickly, we have approximately a little over 5 acres of property. It's highlighted here in yellow. This is North 5th Street. This is Centennial up here. It's further to the north. You have multifamily that's already across on the other side of North 5th Street, as I'm pointing out here. Just to the north is a Pacerne development, a multifamily development. You have some multifamily in this area here. You have the Mormon church, which is located here, which is on the north side of Azure. This property is already planned for a PUD and C1 zoning. We're coming in for a new PUD zoning on the property itself for a triplex condo development that is being proposed by Harmony Homes. So it's a for-sale product. It comes in approximately a little over 14 dwelling units to the acre. It's more of a modern design that is being proposed. This gives you an idea of the front and rear elevations from the modern design that Harmony Homes is proposing. With that being said, this application also went through your Planning Commission. Your Planning Commission did recommend unanimous approval. Your staff is recommending approval. This type of use is most appropriate here along North 5th Corridor. As you know, you want to encourage high densities and high intensities in this area to help support the future light rail that's supposed to be that's planned in this area along North 5th. And so this falls within those plans and policies for the city of North Las Vegas. With that being said, I can answer any other questions that you may have.
Thank you. I'll ask for a public hearing real quick. Is there anybody from the public that would like to come up and speak on this? Do we have any blue cards or any comments? Or anybody on the phone?
No, sir.
So we'll close the public hearing. Now we'll open it up to the council. First off, I'll say this is great infill. You know, I mean, this is wonderful working around that power plant or whatever that thing is and cleaning that little street up there. I'm excited to see that happen, but I'll go on to Councilman Churchill and see what he thinks.
Thank you, Mayor. I don't know if my colleagues want to mention anything about it. I know Bob was surprised that I was familiar with the area over there across the street from Caliber Collision. But yes. I did have a question for you, and I think I brought up that question yesterday when we met. That Southwest Gas maintenance facility there, that's really an eyesore. It's got like a cyclone fence around it. And I know I would get an awful lot of calls about weeds and everything growing on the property, so I'm very happy that you're going to be infilling that piece over there. What could be done with that? And I don't recall if you told me anything, so I'm not just saying it now to put you on the spot in public session.
We, if I recall our conversation fairly quickly from yesterday, hold on, let me get the site plan.
But take your time. We got all night.
I don't think everybody wants to stay here all night, though. So.
No, I do.
So what we're doing is buffering around the this. If I get your attention to the overhead again, please. So on the aerial here, This area here that's not highlighted in yellow adjacent to North Fifth, this is the Southwest Gas, I'm going to call it facility, okay? It is, for all intents and purposes, somewhat of an eyesore. It just sticks there on North Fifth. It's unfortunate it's there, but it's there and it's always going to be there. So one of the things that we wanted to do, and we worked with your staff, this is the site plan itself, is we wanted to ensure we were doing some landscaping in the area here. We can't do anything on their property along North Fifth in this area, but if anything, at least it cleans up the three sides of the facility itself. And then the only other thing is you have left is whatever the gas company is going to do out on North Fifth itself. So we wanted to make sure we put some adequate buffers in that area there, just from a landscaping standpoint. And if anything, we're going to clean that up.
Okay, you just brought up something else, and I understand what you're saying about that. But what about the, is there going to be a sidewalk out front there or curbing that they will be required to continue, so we're not going to have a developed area and then dirt and then another continuation of developed area?
Yeah, well, my understanding is with the North Fifth Street design standards and guidelines, we are required to build out whatever is the city's going to require based on those plans. Because that's, if I'm not mistaken, this is approximately designed to be, I think, a 200-foot wide right-of-way. Mm-hmm. So we would be, on our property, we'll be required to put in the full off-sites in there. There probably will be from your Public Works Department some type of transitional type of paving in that area. But if anything, we wouldn't be able to go onto their property and make improvements. That's something that you'd have to talk to the gas company themselves.
Okay.
Yeah, Councilman, if I may, we've met with Southwest Gas a couple times about finishing their improvements in front of their property. And we actually have another meeting with them next week to try to get that continuation of what Mr. Gronauer's developer is going to do.
Okay. Well, that would be great because it would be an eyesore, for quite a while over there. Okay.
Dale, tell them we would appreciate them. Dale? Tell them we'd appreciate them working with us on this particular item, which means they're going to do something. Okay?
I will, for sure.
All right, thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
So, Councilman, I think that he'll work with that and we get that cleaned up for you then.
Good, great.
Thank you very much. Mr. Groen, anything else? Nothing? Then,
No, Your Honor.
then we have a motion.
Okay, well, I'll go ahead and make a motion, Mayor, then for item number 13, request that we approve ZN-03-2022.
We have a motion. Please cast your vote. Lee, aye. Items approved.
Thank you very much and have a good night.
Mayor, Council, item 14, approve ZOA 01-2022 and pass and adopt ordinance number 3115, an ordinance amending Title 17 in the Municipal Code of the City of North Las Vegas related to zoning, ZOA 01-2022 Health and Fitness Center, by amending the permitted use table 17.20-1 to allow health and fitness centers as a special use in the M2 General Industrial District and providing for other matters property related thereto.
David Brown, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
And I don't know, that guy's got muscles and I don't even have places anymore. Damn, you're a handsome man. Both of you guys are. Why don't we let Dave take over in the presentation?
All right, I'll start, but as you can imagine, I'm going to let them do the heavy lifting. So David Brown, 520 South 4th Street. With me is the applicant property owner, Shannon Evans, as well as the hopefully future tenants, Michael Teagues and Tehan Walker. I'm going to let them talk a little bit about the project. It's a gym, but it's not like the traditional gym that you're used to seeing where it really is strictly about signing up members. Let each of them say a few words.
Hey, how you doing? I appreciate you having us here. My name is Tehan, and I'm one of the co-owners here as well with my colleague Michael. It's not, like he said, it's not a gym. It's a community center. What we have is two different sides of the map. He's from the West Coast. I'm from Chicago. We came together with an idea on how to clean up communities because we come from areas where there's not many options. So we specifically moved on north side of Las Vegas in the area we're in because we see that that area needs help. Most of our people that come over there are either from the military base or they're from the surrounding apartment complexes because there's nowhere else for them to go. So the people that we had come in were excited to see us when we first did our grand opening before the unfortunate events that led to where we are now. So we're looking to show people what we do, how we come about to show giving back without having to be rich. We don't have loans. Everything we have was independent. Everything we had came from retirement funds. My mother had passed in the middle of doing this. I had to use some of the money from what I had gained, and we put it all into this project to get shut down to be where we are now, to figure out how to keep helping, but we have to, follow the guidelines. So as we are here today, we just want to know whatever it is we need to do to be up to par. That's what we're looking to see.
How you doing? My name is Michael, of course, and I'm CEO of this project. And we came together with just a mind state to make change. A lot of people speak about it, but not a lot of people make the changes and choices to actually go out there and do it. The field work we do, it's amazing. People love us. The military base comes, the individuals around there which are poverty-stricken. It's a very dark cloud amongst that side of town, which no one cares about. Let's keep it honest. No one cares about the situation down there, so we're there to make a change. We have children coming in without even shoes on their feet or holes in their clothes, and we provide them with referrals and food coupons to actually eat and have some type of substance because no one cares. Parents not at home, it's a split home, dad's not home, mom's at work. I mean, it's a revolving story and dialogue that has to have a change, and therefore that's what we came up with, and that's what we're doing. We had a great grand opening. Had a lot of individuals come out to support and actually do a lot of talking and speaking, and elders and seniors that came out to speak as well. And, I mean, it was a great thing. Like I said, we're here to actually see what we can do to get this thing situated. And the name that we stated before was called Naked Athletics. It's a dialogue of mentality. You got to strip yourself from yourself to find yourself. If you live in the same frame, you'll get the same results if you do not make a change. We are the change. We are a village. Okay? And thank you. That's all I got to say. I can be here all day. But thank you.
So is this, Dave or whoever, is this something I was a member of the Boys Club. Is this something you're trying to do with, how does it interact, I should say? Like when we used to go to the Boys Club to play basketball, and I boxed a little bit,
So what we have is when it comes to health consciousness, if you notice with the food changes, with the shortages, we have a lot of diabetics. We have a lot of unhealthy people at early ages now. So if we can promote health and fitness, make it fun, but also can utilize the community center side of things with showing people different ways to exercise their mind, their body, get everything together, because sometimes you need help, like he was saying, with food. We have a lot of connections with people where we send people out to food banks. We send people out to different churches that do giveaways. We do back-to-school giveaways. So it's a little mixture of everything. It's not just the gym, but the gym is something that a lot of people need at the moment. Self-defense is a lot of things that people need due to bullying. So more women come to do self-defense and personal training because they are able to be confident being outside. So a lot of things going on right now to where either you're going to carry a gun or you're going to know how to defend yourself, one of the two. And a lot of people have higher confidence levels when they feel like they can defend themselves. So it's not necessarily a boxing gym. So it's kind of like riding the lines of how to enhance people to be better. So if we can use some of the connections we have, and you can come to our facility and we can send you to where your connections can be met and whatever needs you need can be fulfilled, then that's what we'll do. We'll be a hub for the city.
Is there any other comments or questions this time? You mentioned boxing again. I had 12 fights. I only lost a dozen of them.
Oh, so look, we're going to get you back in there then, man. We got to get you in there so that way you can get your footwork back together.
So, what's that? Councilman?
Yeah, Mr. Brown, it's good to see you. I hope your dad's doing well. What did the neighbors in this industrial park, what did they express?
There's been no opposition. With us is the property owner. I do want to comment on a couple things. One, we did talk about it, and they understand how the name could have a different meaning to different people that don't take the time to go into the facility and know. So before we submit the SUP, there will be a name change going along with that. But all the feedback's been positive, and again, the landlord can tell you all about it. And the reason they started off going the wrong direction, they didn't know they needed this exception. They had their opening event, and it was one of those grand openings, grand closings at the same time because they realized they weren't permitted to do it at this facility. But I'll let you, Ms. Evans, say a few words.
Good afternoon, Mayor, councilman, councilwoman. My father and my mother, he's here. I have owned that property for 22 years. We've had the same two tenants the entire time and never any problems. Yamaha Auto Sports was the highest selling auto sports in the country. And they left because they needed a bigger property. So we had an opening for almost a year. And when these three young people, Rochelle, the manager, is there, when they came with their ideas and we looked at it, we realized it was something special and different. And they spent literally everything they have, their heart, their soul, their money, to make this property beautiful. And it's beautiful. And because this process takes time and it was unexpected, my family, who was retired and on a fixed income, we decided that we give them a rent abatement. They don't have to pay any rent until we get this worked out. And we're paying the expenses, the utilities, the property insurance. We want them to succeed, and we're working together. And it's not just a landlord-tenant situation. We're working together to present something special. And it's physical nutrition, health, mental meditation. It's just a really special place for all ages. And we invite you to come if you approve us. It's a really great place. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, let's see how you did here. Councilor, any other comments or questions?
Mr. Chairman.
Going Brown?
Thank you for being here. And I looked at the name and I'm like, okay, wow. But if you're going to change the name for the physical building, you're still going to be able to incorporate this acronym or this theme into what you do in your programming every day, I hope.
Yeah, that's what we had a concern about, because every time people ask us, well, what does it mean? Do you work out naked? It's like, no.
Right.
And that's the conversational piece. That's what creates the attraction. Just like all of the lights on Las Vegas Strip. If it was dark, you wouldn't go. The lights are the attraction. The word is an attraction. That starts the conversation. So once he explains it, I explain it. Now it makes perfect sense. And now you see that we're actually deeper than what the surface is. Most people are not deeper than the surface. That's why their mind stops at the word. But when you find out who we are and what we mean, then it will make you start to look at yourself, to dig deeper to find out what you have inside. Because like he said, you have to strip yourself of yourself to find yourself. And we all had to do that. You wouldn't be on that board if you didn't. Everybody had to learn who they were and become the best version of themselves. So we really wouldn't want to change the name, but if it's that much of a problem, we will. But the name really means something. That was the purpose. It was a very deep thought to create this name and this brand. Put a lot of effort into it. So to change it, it'd be like, you know, a dream killer a little bit. But we'll do whatever necessary.
Right, thank you.
Mayor, if I may, just a couple clarifications here. This is the first step in the process. This is just a text amendment to the zoning ordinance that would allow the Health and Fitness Center as a special use in M2. So what the applicant will have to do after this, if it's approved by this council tonight, they will need to file for the special use permit and go before the Planning Commission, which will be a public hearing before the Planning Commission for that. And I'd also like to add that because this is an assembly type use, there will be tenant improvements, modifications to the building that will be required per the building code before they can actually move in and actually operate out of this location.
David, I think we still got an issue with the name.
We'll just do whatever
But we want to make sure you're.
That's understood, that it's not the mayor or the council, that it's the people driving by. Someone else isn't going to understand it, and they understand.
Yeah.
We actually have a pending partnership with the PAL program with Metro Police Department, and they didn't have a problem with it. But if we decide we want to change it, it's nothing to change the dynamics of the name. It's not going to stop us from our purpose.
And I would say when we submit the special use permit application, it'll be clear that the name has been changed. This, as they commented, is the first step in the process. If we're fortunate enough to get the opportunity for them to do it, this gives the city the safeguards that they still have to go for a special use permit to be able to show that this kind of use could be fitting for industrial use.
Okay. Well, we've changed our reputation here. I just want you to know. So
understood.
Councilman?
Actually, I was just going to say that there are some pretty fantastic synonyms for the word naked: bare, unveiled, stark. Some pretty good words that can have your meaning without having a misconstrued meaning. So anyway, with that, step one.
I made a mistake. Let me open this up to public.
Oh yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Is there anybody here from the public or on the phone or a blue card that would like to come up on this item? Oh, please come, sir. I almost forgot about asking you to come up.
How you doing? Robert Whitfield Taylor, North Las Vegas resident. I actually came here to bring my son to see how government is ran physically in real time. But I know these gentlemen right here, and I've been at the gym for the grand opening, and we've had meetings about how you doing. We had meetings about what we could do towards the community. I've owned barbershops around the city, and we've done STD testing and all kind of events for the community. And that's what we talked about. Me personally, being a real local out here, born and raised in North Las Vegas, we don't have anything like this. You know, this is what I fight for, being a real resident of North Las Vegas. And when I saw the gym, how big it was, how nice it was, and all the art, they didn't even mention that, all the art that's on the wall, it made me feel proud that we finally have something especially in that area. Because there's nothing in that area that's for the community. So I know this is the beginning of the sub-process, special use permit I'm dealing with right now on the other side, in another city right now, so I understand how it goes. But as a community servant, I would say that I love what you guys are doing, and I wish you the best. And my opinion, this is very needed for our community. That's it. That's all.
We will, sir, we will need you to fill out a blue card so we can enter your comments into.
I'll fill out too.
Huh?
No problem, yes, sir.
Yeah. And I think the last thing, if you stay through the whole meeting, why don't you have your son come up here and meet some people on city council?
Okay.
That'd
be great. Thank you.
I'd love to do that for him.
Mayor. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. Yeah, the thing that I forgot to mention, a little bit thing with the allergies, right? Maybe I should go ahead and go to that gym. I definitely could. Although I tell you what, if I ever need a bodyguard, these two guys over here, they'd be perfect for it. You know, just bulldoze. Actually, I don't know if you know this, Mayor. This is actually a Ward 1 project. So, you know me. I've always liked things that are a little bit, how should I say, off the beaten path. And I did not know about the art, which for me, of course, you know, for everything that we've been doing down here, it makes a lot of sense. I think, as Mr. Taylor pointed out, here in North Las Vegas, we've always done things a little bit different anyhow. And, you know, I think it's one of these quirky projects that although, you know, on the face of it, it didn't sound like it would fit. I think this actually pretty much would fit in the way that we do things here in North Las Vegas. We're resourceful. We do things that don't fit the mold. And we've managed to use that, I think, now and turn the city to the residents' benefit. I know the councilman wants to make the motion, so I'll let him. But most definitely, I know I'll be proud to have this one in Ward 1.
All right, thank you very much. Any other comments or questions, Councilman Black?
No, I would be happy to make a motion to approve ZOA-01-2022 and pass and adopt Ordinance 3115.
Thank you. We have a motion. Please cast your vote. Mayor's aye.
Thank you all very much.
Congratulations. Moving on to business.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Seraphin Calvo for the record.
Welcome, Seraphin.
Conduct public hearing to receive public comments and input for the draft U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development 2022-2023 Annual Action Plan for Community Development Block Grant, Cdbg, and Emergency Solution Grant, ESG funds.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Council, staff. For the record, Rick Damian, Manager, Housing and Neighborhood Services Division. Thanks for giving us the opportunity to make a brief presentation. We've been warned, so we'll make this brief and informative for you all. Just want you to know that Cdbg has been impacting directly and indirectly the citizens of North Las Vegas for over 25 years through public services, housing, capital projects, and most recently economic development, small business loans, and STEM center education. So, you know, through our small team of 5, we're very, very, very happy, and I'm very proud of a small team to be able to make these impacts to the citizens of North Las Vegas. With that, I'd like to introduce Meji Tabar. She's with Community Solutions. She's been working with my team through the years to draft the Consolidated Plan and action plans for the city of North Las Vegas. So, without further ado, Meji.
Thank you. As Rick said, my name is Meji Tabar. I'm a consultant helping the city conduct their annual action plan as well as other housing and community development work. It's my first time being in person since COVID, and it's been a fun meeting, so very thankful to be here. But I have worked with the city since 2017, so you may remember previous presentations. But today, I'm really hoping just to provide some background on the action plan and consolidated plan, a few quick housing facts, an overview of the community input that we've received to date, as well as a summary of the goals and projects in the annual action plan. And then there's time at the end for any questions that you may have. And if I'm going through any slides too quickly, happy to go back to any of them. So quickly about the Consolidated Annual Action Plan. The city receives Community Development Block Grant, CDBG, or Emergency Solutions Grant, ESG, directly from HUD. To actually receive these funds, the city is required to produce a number of plans so that they indicate how they are going to use those funds and how they are firmly furthering fair housing. In 2020, the 5-year consolidated plan was completed, and the city participated in the regional analysis of impediments to fair housing choice. Earlier this year, the city decided to work on their own housing needs and market study to better understand local housing conditions. So the next annual action plan, what we're predominantly talking about today, is the third plan in that 5-year consolidated plan cycle, and it's due to HUD this summer. So what will the city receive from HUD? Unfortunately, the federal budget has not been completed yet, and so the city has not received their allocations for this year. But those figures that you see on the screen are last year's allocations, and we anticipate the numbers to be somewhat similar. I won't go through all those past activities, but just to say that certain activities are eligible to be used for these funds and certain ones are not, and this gives you an idea of kind of what that universe is. So a few quick housing facts that are coming out of our housing plan, and more of this will be summarized in that housing study itself. But just to note that the city of North Las Vegas, average household size, percent of homeowners, and the percent of single-family homes is all higher than the national average. And so that's pretty interesting. Your median rent of just over $1,200 is not affordable to someone making minimum wage in the state of Nevada. And so that's where you see over a third of your households are cost burdened. And what I mean by cost burden is these households are paying more than 30% of their income on housing costs. So a little bit about the community input that we've received for the annual action plan. We've conducted an online survey trying to get feedback from residents, stakeholders, and leadership, conducting interviews as well as community meetings and public hearings like this one today. One thing to note is we are in the 30-day public comment period for the annual action plan, and that goes through the end of April. And so if you're hoping to make a public comment, this would be the time to review that draft and submit the comments, either written or today in this hearing. I won't go through everything that we've received to date from that community input, but there will be a whole community input section of the plan. But what I thought was really interesting was when we asked residents what their biggest housing concern, overwhelmingly residents said increasing housing costs, overcrowding, and lack of affordable units. When we asked stakeholders what the most important issue contributing to the affordability of housing was, they identified the high cost of housing due to construction costs, the increased housing costs due to new development in the area and rising taxes, low wages in general, and low wages due to low skill. So just to kind of circle back to the consolidated plan, these are the goals that were put forth in that 2020 consolidated plan that go through to this year's annual action plan, and those are neighborhood revitalization, public services for low-income residents, capital projects, so that's community facilities and infrastructure, economic and business opportunities, as well as affordable housing development and preservation. And so finally, this is a summary of this year's planned activities that you will see in the annual action plan. I I saved you all from the detailed project list, but this gives you a really good summary of the types of projects that the city is intending to fund. A lot of it has happened in previous years, but I think it's a really great direction because it involves everything from job training to addressing homelessness, to addressing at-risk youth, social service, health and nutrition. And so the city is really thinking about how to address multiple issues through these funding programs. Great. So that's everything that I had for you today, and happy to take questions.
Thank you. Councilman Black.
I don't have a question. I just have a comment. You know, we do this every year. We go through this process. We take these Cdbg dollars and ESG dollars. They're finite in nature, and we strategically, with our small team, invest those, sniff out the best places to have these dollars land. And what I wanted to point out, I'm the representative for the City of North Las Vegas City Council on the Housing Authority Board, which is regulated by HUD. And over the last 7 years, we've put 800 plus affordable units into our community by these strategic investments with Cdbg. And I just wanted to say that that's amazing. That's direct benefit to the residents of North Las Vegas, but primarily the lower income residents. And these are done with private developers with no federal subsidy based on our strategic investment. So I'm proud of the efforts of our team of 5 and our supporting consultants for doing this work.
Thank you. Councilman Barone?
Oh, I'll let my colleague go first.
Thank you for your
Ms. Green Brown?
presentation. I just wanted to know the outreach portion of all of this to the community. Oftentimes, I will get a call or just passing by, especially with senior residents, senior constituents. Sorry, cannot talk today. Just knowing and then afraid to apply for some type of funding for fear of, I don't know what the fear is, but just how to break that stereotype.
Hi, Mayor, Council. Yes, we've dealt through some of the calls from the seniors and other constituents that have concerns regarding various requirements and regulations of the program. And what we do every time we receive something like that, we review the program and see if we can lessen the string, though it's string heavy, to make it more competitive out there for the residents. We're always trying to build wealth in a lot of what we're trying to do for the resident. And so if there's any barriers that we find that we can address, we do revise these programs accordingly. So anytime any of you all receive those types of concerns, please forward them to us, and we'll be happy to address them and make any revisions as necessary to ensure equity and everything that's needed to get these folks, the citizens, the assistance that they deserve. Really.
And does this still include houses that are uninhabitable for demo? Is that still part of this program, or is that a separate
It's
box?
part of one of 7 grants that we administer. Blight removal is a part of one of the grants that we do administer under this division. Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Councilman.
Councilman Barone?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I'm not trying to deal in minutia. On slide 5, the CNLV housing facts. Actually, if you guys, I'd just be interested in comparison, Mr. Barr, if you would be so kind as to maybe give me the same things right there, but just a comparison with the other jurisdictions. There's just a few things I just wanted to mull in my own mind.
I don't have it offhand, but in the study, we will be comparing all the local regions so that you can see what that breakdown is. Because right now in the regional analysis of impediments to fair housing choice, it's really focused on the region. And so, you know, what we learned after going through some of that information is that there just wasn't the local data available for North Las Vegas to really determine what those local housing needs are. So all this study is going to do is focus more on that local data, but also continue to compare it to all of the nearby areas and the larger region to make sure that we're still thinking about it in a regional way. Because we know it, housing, community development, it is helpful to think about it at that regional level because things don't just happen on a city level. So that will still be a part of it, and I'm happy to send any of that data directly to you once it is finished.
I remember the last time I looked at similar data, you know, North Vegas was looking pretty good in terms of single-family home ownership by owner. The only other residents, the only other public entity, the only other one of our sister cities here in the area that it matches is believe it or not, Henderson, and they're I think at 63%, if I'm or 64%, and I think we're way ahead of Las Vegas and Clark County. I did have I did have a question because I have had, of course, Latino nonprofits that have asked me, and I've had to tell them, hey, do you know what a Cdbg is? And they didn't, some of them didn't even know, right? So as my esteemed educator colleague had pointed out, outreach, outreach is really important. So I'm hoping that that we'll be able to outreach. I know we have really good friends here for like Chicanos por la Causa who they're just right up the street for us, but I'm kind of hoping we have cast a wider net as well. Only because I just think with the demographics and everything that we're doing down here, again, with Southern Nevada Strong, identifying the downtown corridor here as being one of the very best places to initiate their plans here. They did identify that we should definitely play to our strengths, and one strength in this area is the Latino segment. Hey, 100,000 people a weekend show up over here at Broadacres. If that was a mall, people would be touting it as a huge success story. But outside of the Latino community, unless you're looking for a place to walk around and get a cocoa and get dancing on the weekends, you probably don't know about it. And it's a huge economic generator. So, and of course, anything you can do, as the councilwoman said, to reach these alternative and maybe that's something we'll also do along with it. Well, I have lots of vision, but maybe I'll turn to staff to figure it out. Thank you so very much.
Any other comments or questions? I'm going to read the motion just because it's federal government. Would that be all right? And then I'll ask, I guess, Councilman Black, you have experience in this. The motion would be to approve the draft U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, the Annual Action Plan, AAP, for Community Development Block Grants, CDBG, and Emergency Shelter Grant, ESG funds. That would be the motion, Councilman.
So moved, Mayor Lee.
We have a motion. Please cast your vote. Lee is aye. Items approved. Moving on to ordinances, final action. Good job.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Item number 17, pass and adopt ordinance number 3103, extending the corporate limits of the city of North Las Vegas by annexing 12 parcels of land generally located northeast of Las Vegas Boulevard and Interstate 15 intersection, and providing for other matters properly relating thereto.
Hey, Councilman Barone.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm for anything that makes Ward 1 just a little bit bigger. And with that, I'd like to make a motion to let's make a motion.
We have a motion. Please cast your vote. Lee is aye. Items approved.
Item number 18, pass and adopt ordinance number 3110, extending corporate limits of the city of North Las Vegas by annexing 3 parcels of land generally located at the northwest corner of Mount Hood Street and Washburn Road, and providing for other matters properly related thereto.
Thank you very much. Councilman Churchio, Mayor Pro Tem Churchio.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll be very happy to make the motion on item number 18, ordinance number 3110.
Thank you. We have a motion. Please cast your vote. Lee is aye. Items approved.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Jared Luke, City of North Las Vegas, for the record. Agenda item.
Whoa. We need to read this in, though. Who's reading this in?
I am, sir.
You're reading the motion? Oh, so you're going to take care of that? Okay, go ahead.
Item 19, pass and adopt ordinance number 3119, an ordinance of the City of North Las Vegas, Nevada, approving and adopting that certain development agreement between the City of North Las Vegas and Legacy AK LLC, a Pacific Group company, for the development of approximately 135.36 net acres of land identified as the JCZ South, generally located at the southwest corner of CC 215 Beltway and Pecos Road, and providing for other matters properly relating thereto.
Thank you. Madam City Clerk, you mentioned that this would be a unique reading. So I thought you were just testifying only. So is there a presentation or anything with this?
Yes, Mayor. There is a presentation. Tony Sansone from the Pacific Group, their CFO, is here to offer up some questions and answer.
Thank you, Jared. Good evening, Mayor Lee and council members. Very excited to be here to talk about this amazing project that we've all been working on. Wanted to give a few thank yous right out of the gate first. First of all, to Jared. Jared's leadership has been absolutely amazing through this process, and his guidance and everything that he's provided us has really helped us kind of get to this point in a fairly quick way. We know fast and faster, Mayor, so we're trying to keep up with that. Bill Legier and Alan for their assistance and coordination throughout the entire process. They were our go-to people as we went through this process. Michaela, Dan, and their legal team for negotiating with us and our legal team in an extremely collaborative manner. We're very, very grateful for that. The entire city staff that worked with us through the purchase and development agreement negotiations, and finally Patrick and Linda for the help with the PR efforts that we've had over the last couple of weeks. Doing a quick presentation here. Let's see. The opportunity. So during the entire bidding and agreement negotiation process, we at Pacific Group felt in complete alignment with the city's desire to create a medical destination campus servicing the citizens of North Las Vegas and the broader Southern Nevada community. We believe we developed a plan that creates a vision and solutions for not only today's needs, but also for the future anticipated growth in the city. The plan we proposed in the development agreement presented to you tonight is projected to provide over $4 billion in investment and create 10,000 plus jobs over its 7 to 10 year period. We envision this campus to be a place to be hub for the city, providing a robust medical and technology campus with hotels for family and visitors, along with retail and restaurants supporting the campus employees, VA, and citizens at large. We've enlisted the National Medical Campus Design teams of Ginsler Architects and Asakura Robinson to create the vision for our proposed development. Our plan includes thoughtful strategy around traffic and pedestrian flows throughout the campus, incorporating current and future public transportation connections and a focus on open space and environmental sustainability. Having developed other projects in this area, we are very mindful of being an engaged corporate citizen, and several members of our team have spent a significant amount of time over the last 8 months meeting with local and state government personnel, higher education leadership, and many individuals and groups involved in creating solutions for the healthcare and technology sectors. We've also had the opportunity to meet with the VA executive team to identify how we can partner together in our adjoining campuses. We have learned much and look forward to learning even more. We strongly believe we have worked in a collaborative partnership with the city staff to create a vision and document that in the development agreement presented this evening for your approval. We look forward to working with the city and the greater community to execute on this vision. Accordingly, we ask you for your support and approval of the development agreement as presented.
Thank you. Director Luke, would you come back up in case we have questions? Councilor, do you have any comments or questions for Director Luke or the presenter on this, Ms. Goins-Brown?
Thank you for your presentation, and I can speak on behalf of my colleagues that we are overjoyed and thrilled to death with the progress that's being made. And I told Jared he has to do a happy dance, including a flip, so we'll just wait for that. So just talk to me about the progress for the hospital, because I think that's a major component to this development.
Absolutely. We put out an RFP about 3 weeks ago to 4 local groups and 3 outside of the state. We're getting those responses in now, and then we anticipate probably talking to, call it the top 3 of those, and further talking through their proposals. And then we would obviously narrow it down to one party We'll be working with Jared. We've had a great conversation around what the vision is for that hospital and who the partner is, and obviously that will drive a lot of the other uses and purposes going on in the park. So our goal is by end of May, early June, we're kind of down to identifying who that hospital partner is. Obviously, they're going to take some time to get through their processes, their internal processes, put their plans together, come back to council for approval. But we're going to go ahead and move forward simultaneously with other buildings and uses while their hospitals kind of doing their thing.
Councilman Black?
Yes, thank you. Like Councilwoman said, this is a tremendous benefit to our community long-term for generations to come, not only for North Las Vegas, but for the region, as you stated, Tony. I have a question. When you put together a once-in-a-generation opportunity like this, clearly, both sides are negotiating. You referenced the collaboration aspect of the negotiation, but I would just like to ask our city attorney, Ms. Moore, if she would just give us her thoughts on this agreement.
So there, I think as Tony and Jared and Doug can attest, there was some vigorous negotiation on the agreement. And so there was give and take on both sides. And I think, at the end we reached something that is mutually acceptable to both of the parties.
Awesome. Thank you.
Councilman Brown, did you have a question?
Yeah, just a little bit. And of course, I realize we're at the very preliminary part of this. Welcome, Mr. Sansone. It's nice to see you again.
Thank you.
I think we talked about this before. I teach psychology at Rancho High School still. So just my big thing is down the road, of course, anything that we can do, anything with mental health, right? I know for me, you will earn not just every kudo, anything, just for the state of mental health in our valley. Trying to get a psychiatrist around here, well, it's like trying to find a unicorn, So anything we could do, of course, to make that a reality, I think the entire valley, but in particular, of course, our city is in dire need, probably more than anywhere else. That's enough. I think you got the point.
We've heard that over and over in many of the meetings with the healthcare specialists. We actually met with a group today out of Arizona that does mental health services, and that came through Vance at the state, Vance Farrow. Like I said, we've met with a whole lot of people, and we continue to get introduced to people, and everything that we've heard from the hospitals to the healthcare experts are, if we can figure out some multiple solutions for mental health care, that would be very well received throughout this southern region and city of North Las Vegas.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sansone.
So I'll just pipe in for a second. I know Mr. Anderson has showed up to every meeting we've had. Anytime you have a hands-on leadership, the owner of the company come here, they take a personal interest in this, you can expect great things to happen. Usually they send lobbyists and they just push that stuff up. Doug, we're very happy that you've become part of our partnership and you're here being a 100% partner. And the Pacific Group is just far surpassed our expectations as a partner. So, Councilman Churchill.
Thank you, Mayor. And yes, the last conversation we had at the last council meeting or the one before that, you're part of the family now. So, you're not going anywhere without us anymore. But, we've dealt with so many important issues over here in improving this development, improving that, Apex and such like that. This is really a standalone, very important item that'll surpass our presence over here. But I know I work closely with our veterans, and we do have an amazing VA hospital over there. And a lot of what I hear, and a lot of what we all hear, is as residents, we're kind of getting a little tired of driving to other parts of the valley to go to a doctor, to go shopping or something like that. And we understand that all of those things have been lacking in our city for a long time. This is that rare opportunity that we can kind of answer a lot of those questions and, kind of give them what they want over here, not only the people now, but the people in the future. So I'm really, truly, even though this is in my ward, this goes well beyond wards. You know, this is for the people that are here now, the people that are coming, you know, after us, not only as council people, but, you know, we're all residents here as well. So, you know, I personally, as a resident, very much appreciate all of you for wanting to bring this and your expertise to our city. This is, I can't say more than it's an amazing night. So for me, it's going to be a privilege to make the motion at the appropriate time to go ahead and approve this ordinance number 19, pass and adopt ordinance number 3119, City of North Las Vegas.
Thank you very much. We'll accept that motion. Please cast your vote. Mayor, aye.
Mayor Pro Tem, may we confirm
did.
your vote, sir?
Yeah, I voted. I'll vote again. Aye.
Thank you, sir.
It's going to show up.
So I voted twice.
You want to do a voice vote? Because it's not showing up on our screen.
You got it?
Oh, here we go.
There you go. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Takes a while to get from
approved.
there to here.
Congratulations, Jared. You've done a great job as a director on this project. And thank you, Civic Group.
Mayor, if it's appropriate, the Principal Doug Anderson would like to say thank you to the council.
Please come forward, Doug.
Tony does such a great job. He is a great speaker, but I wanted to thank all of you for having the foresight and vision to invite us to your party, and this is going to be a lot of fun. This is a real milestone for the city, and we're both humbled and grateful and proud to step up and work with you guys. It's truly a partnership. We told that to the hospital folks every time we meet with them, that they have to be approved with our partners, which is the city. It's a big portion of that, so it's a great milestone for the city, and your leadership should be really commended. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Anderson.
Mr. Mayor, item 20, pass and adopt ordinance number 3121 of the City of North Las Vegas, amending sections 030, 120, and 210 of Chapter 8 of Title II of the North Las Vegas Municipal Code and ordinance number 3071 to ensure consistency with the North Las Vegas City Charter and providing for other matters properly relating thereto.
Thank you very much. Council, any comments or questions? If not, the chair will take a motion.
Make a motion to approve.
Yeah.
We have a motion. Please cast vote. Aye, Lee. Lee, aye. It's been a long day. Items approved. Moving on to City Manager's report.
Mayor and Council, I'd just like to, we've just got one little thing I'd like to bring to your attention on item number 15 on business. I regret that it was entered in, there was a word that was entered in wrong by staff, and if it's okay with the indulgence of Mayor and Council, we'd like to call that motion again and make sure that we get the exact words right for HUD.
What item was that?
Item number 15.
Didn't I not read it properly?
You read it properly. You read the words that were provided by staff, but unfortunately, they put the wrong word in where it says shelter. It should have said solutions.
Oh.
It's not your fault, Mayor, but if you would so indulge, I'll read the motion for your further consideration. Call for the motion to approve the draft U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD 2022-2023 Annual Action Plan, AAP, for Community Development Block Grant, Cdbg, and Emergency Solutions Grant, ESG funds.
Thank you. So we have opened item 15 again. The chair will take a motion.
So moved, Mayor Lee.
We have a motion. Please cast your vote. Mayor, aye. Items approved. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor.
We have one other thing on, I'd like to just bring up to the front here. We have a new gentleman who would like to be an alternate judge. Would you please come up? And Mr. James Montano has been awarded the opportunity to serve our community, and I wanted you to meet him a little bit as an alternative judge. I just caution him not to get black robe disease, you know. And can you tell us what an alternate judge does and a little bit what you see for our city?
Thank you, Mayor.
members of the council, Madam Clerk, it's a pleasure to be with you this afternoon. And Mayor Lee, I appreciate the invitation to speak to the council today. I also, before I get started, want to take just a moment to thank Councilwoman Goins-Brown, Councilman Barone, and Mayor Pro Tem Churchio for taking time from their busy schedules last week to sit down and visit with me about this appointment. I sincerely appreciate that and enjoyed those visits very much. Thank you. Mayor, the Judge Pro Tem position allows our full-time judges to have time off when they need it, whether it's for vacation or illness or other responsibilities that would cause them to be out of the courtroom. Pro Tem or alternate judge is able to fill in for them. And so that is the role. I appreciate you, Mayor, inviting me to consider applying for this position several months ago. I have been a resident of North Las Vegas since 1996. My wife and I bought a house in El Dorado when it was just an island of homes in the middle of the desert. And with the exception of a couple of years that I was up in Provo attending law school, we have made North Las Vegas our home. My children were raised here. They attended public school here. In fact, they were at Elizondo when Councilwoman Goins-Brown was an administrator at Elizondo, and so we had an enjoyable time reflecting on those days of many years past. But I am appreciative of the opportunity. I have practiced in private practice for almost 18 years, and little over 5 years ago, opened my own office here in North Las Vegas, Camino al Norte in Washburn, and have been practicing here and working with and for residents of North Las Vegas, in addition to my other clientele. This is a great opportunity for me, I feel, to return some gratitude and service to the city for the many wonderful blessings that have been given to my family being residents here. So I thank you, members of the council, for your affirmative vote today. Thank you.
Madam City Attorney, is there an investiture or when we get these new judges, do you just swear them in the back room and put them out in the dais, or what do you really do?
That's my understanding, is that they just get sworn in, and then when the court calls them, they show up.
Well, if you bring your wife in and you get sworn in, send her over here. We'll put it on Facebook. All right? Let the world know we've got another good judge working here. So
thank you, Mayor.
Thank you so much for waiting around. We just wanted to get you familiar to the community and have a chance at that. So
thank you so much.
This is the time, Madam pardon me, City Manager, you don't want any more time? Your report's done?
No, sir, I'm done. Thank you.
Okay. So moving on to the second public forum. Now it's time for the public to speak on issues that were not on today's agenda, but are within the jurisdiction or control of the City Council. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes. Remember that no items raised during this second public forum may be delivered on or acted upon by the City Council. However, the items discussed may be referred to the City Manager or other City staff for action by the City Council at a later date. Madam City Clerk, I have one blue card here. Is there any more, or is just one person right now?
That's the only one
I'm
we
going
have.
to ask Mr. Austin Weisler, if that's Austin. Am I saying that right? Welcome to our City Council meeting.
Hello, guys. First of all, I'd like to say hello. My name's Austin Weisler, and I would like to thank all of you and our first responders, and especially our police officers. Today I'm here to talk about our hardcore drug addicts in our communities around the valley, in Boulder City, and everywhere. And a little bit, I've lived here since I was 6, so I've grown up in the valley, and I've seen our homeless population grow to out-of-control bounds. And working with my family's property maintenance company, we pick up the feces and weekly of the people living on our streets. So it gets pretty tough, It's pretty tough out there, and you guys know that especially. So, which brings me here, I do not wish our city to become the next Los Angeles or the next Seattle, because those are failed. It's just not working in those cities. So, I've seen buildings set on fire, again, human feces all over local businesses, hardworking people, get to their net, panhandling just to get their next hit, and it's creating unnecessary work for those cleaning and maintaining our great city. Also, by us allowing this to continue, we are saying this is acceptable, not just to those living on the streets, but also, to the next generation. Our kids are always watching and learning from our surroundings, and this is always why we cannot allow this to continue. First, I would propose creating 2 facilities, barrack-esque facilities. This is a little radical, but working with all of our cities and surrounding communities, Boulder City, Henderson, Las Vegas, and North Las Vegas, to creating 2 facilities where we can pick up everybody and basically also train them to basically work in NDF, work in other departments of the city, and they would also need a bank account. Each individual, after a year's service, they would also need access to said bank account, because like children, sometimes their parents, we have to do what's best for them. So I'm proposing that, enacting emergency powers after these facilities are created to pick up, remove all the hardcore drug addicts, the homeless, and the mentally ill. And the proposed Bill 19, that would be a great facility to place some of these mentally ill people, because, unfortunately, in the last couple of months, people have been getting very aggressive on the streets, and the amount of destruction and damage to property is just out of control. Okay, thank you.
Austin, I have a question for you. I recognize here that you live on North 10th. Were you talking regionally, or were you thinking this was the city of Las Vegas where your home is?
Well, I'm trying to speak at all the city councils in the valley, because this problem is affecting us everywhere. I mean, we have people shooting up where our kids walk home every day. Okay. And I see this and work on the streets, and it's a sad sight. And I talk to homeless people, and literally I'll feed them, give them water, and they'll, I ask them not to throw the trash on the ground, and they throw it on the ground. And that's my job. I pick it up, and it's just very sad. So, I had something written here, but it's just really sad. And I wish, we could all come together and do it. And I just want to kind of get us talking about this more, because we have a tremendous amount of money, with all the cities here in Vegas and in the Valley. We can bring in all these sports teams and all this money, but why can't we take care of our people? It breaks my heart.
I see. I just was making sure you're in the right location, but you're regionally thinking here, so I appreciate it.
Yes, I'll be speaking. I'll be trying to, go to all the city councils and proposing. I mean, I've seen, in my years, I've seen the homeless spread to Henderson now, where they never were. There's a camp above Railroad Pass. It's sad, and I just don't wish our city to become like Los Angeles. It's tremendously bad down there.
I get it. I just making, you're fine. So thank you so much for coming today.
And again, thank you for your service. I really appreciate you guys taking your time. And our police force, they're under siege from this, So thank you again.
Is there anybody else that would like to approach the city council now and talk on any particular item? We have no more blue cards, no one on the phone.
No, sir.
And this meeting is adjourned.